voice. Move by the light, make a choice. Listen to my voice. I got something to say.
This is your Resolve to Read daily reading. It's March 15th, and we're reading from the book of Joshua. Then Joshua summoned the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, and said to them, "You have done all that Moses the servant of Yahuwah commanded, and you have obeyed me in everything I commanded. For a long time now, to this very day, you have not deserted your brothers, but have carried out the mission Yahuwah your God gave you. Now that Yahuwah your God has given your brothers rest as he promised, return to your homes in the land that Moses the servant of Yahuwah gave you on the other side of the Jordan. But be very careful to keep the commandment and the law that Moses the servant of Yahuwah gave you, to love Yahuwah your God, to walk in all his ways, to obey his commands, to hold fast to him, and to serve him with all your heart and all your soul." Then Joshua blessed them and sent them away, and they went to their homes. To the half-tribe of Manasseh, Moses had given land in Bashan, and to the other half of the tribe, Joshua gave land on the west side of the Jordan with their brothers. When Joshua sent them home, he blessed them, saying, "Return to your homes with your great wealth, with large herds of livestock, with silver, gold, bronze, and iron, and a great quantity of clothing, and divide with your brethren the plunder from your enemies." So the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh left the Israelites at Shiloh in Canaan to return to Gilead, their own land, which they had acquired in accordance with the command of Yahuwah through Moses. When they came to Geliloth, near the Jordan, in the land of Canaan, the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh built an imposing altar there by the Jordan. And when the Israelites heard that they had built the altar on the border of Canaan at Geliloth, near the Jordan, on the Israelite side, the whole assembly of Israel gathered at Shiloh to go to war against them. So the Israelites sent Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, to the land of Gilead, to Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. With him they sent 10 of the chief men, one for each of the tribes of Israel, each the head of a family division among the Israelite clans. When they went to Gilead, to Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, they said to them, "The whole assembly of Yahuwah says, 'How could you break faith with the God of Israel like this? How could you turn away from Yahuwah and build yourselves an altar in rebellion against him now? Was not the sin of Peor enough for us? Up to this very day, we have not cleansed ourselves from that sin, even though a plague fell on the community of Yahuwah. And are you now turning away from Yahuwah? If you rebel against Yahuwah today, tomorrow he will be very angry with the whole community of Israel. If the land you possess is defiled, come over to Yahuwah's land, where Yahuwah's tabernacle stands, and share the land with us. But do not rebel against Yahuwah or against us by building an altar for yourselves, other than the altar of Yahuwah our God. When Achan son of Zerah acted unfaithfully regarding the devoted things, did not wrath come upon the whole community of Israel? He was not the only one who died for his sin." Then Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh replied to the heads of the clans of Israel, "The mighty one, God, Yahuwah! The mighty one, God, Yahuwah, he knows, and let Israel know. If this has been in rebellion or disobedience to Yahuwah, do not spare us this day. If we have built our own altar to turn away from Yahuwah and to offer burnt offerings and grain offerings, or to sacrifice fellowship offerings on it, may Yahuwah himself call us to account. No, we did it for fear that someday your descendants might say to ours, 'What do you have to do with Yahuwah, the God of Israel? Yahuwah has made the Jordan a boundary between us and you. You Reubenites and Gadites, you have no share in Yahuwah.' So your descendants might cause ours to stop fearing Yahuwah. That is why we said, 'Let us get ready and build an altar, but not for burnt offerings or sacrifices. On the contrary, it is to be a witness between us and you and the generations that follow, that we will worship Yahuwah at his sanctuary with our burnt offerings, sacrifices, and fellowship offerings. Then, in the future, your descendants will not be able to say to ours, 'You have no share in Yahuwah.' And we said, if they ever say this to us or to our descendants, we will answer, 'Look at the replica of Yahuwah's altar, which our fathers built, not for burnt offerings and sacrifices, but as a witness between us and you.' Far be it from us to rebel against Yahuwah and turn away from him today by building an altar for burnt offerings, grain offerings, and sacrifices, other than the altar of Yahuwah our God that stands before his tabernacle." When Phinehas the priest and the leaders of the community, the heads of the clans of the Israelites, heard what Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh had to say, they were pleased. And Phinehas son of Eleazar the priest said to Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh, "Today we know that Yahuwah is with us, because you have not acted unfaithfully toward Yahuwah in this matter. Now you have rescued the Israelites from Yahuwah's hand." Then Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, and the leaders returned to Canaan from their meeting with the Reubenites and Gadites in Gilead and reported to the Israelites. They were glad to hear the report and praised God. And they talked no more about going to war against them to devastate the country where the Reubenites and the Gadites lived. And the Reubenites and the Gadites gave the altar this name, "A witness between us that Yahuwah is God." After a long time had passed, and Yahuwah had given Israel rest from all their enemies around them, Joshua, by then old and well advanced in years, summoned all Israel, their elders, leaders, judges, and officials, and said to them, "I am old and well advanced in years. You yourselves have seen everything Yahuwah your God has done to all these nations for your sake. It was Yahuwah your God who fought for you. Remember how I have allotted as an inheritance for your tribes all the land of the nations that remain, the nations I conquered, between the Jordan and the great sea in the west. Yahuwah your God himself will drive them out of your way. He will push them out before you, and you will take possession of their land as Yahuwah your God promised you. Be very strong. Be careful to obey all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, without turning aside to the right or to the left. Do not associate with these nations that remain among you. Do not invoke the names of their gods or swear by them. You must not serve them or bow down to them. But you are to hold fast to Yahuwah your God, as you have until now. Yahuwah has driven out before you great and powerful nations. To this day, no one has been able to withstand you. One of you routs 1,000, because Yahuwah your God fights for you, just as he promised. So be very careful to love Yahuwah your God. But if you turn away and ally yourselves with the survivors of these nations that remain among you, and if you intermarry with them and associate with them, then you can be sure that Yahuwah your God will no longer drive out these nations before you. Instead, they will become snares and traps for you, whips on your backs, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish from this good land which Yahuwah your God has given you. Now, I am about to go the way of all the earth. You know with all your heart and soul that not one of all the good promises Yahuwah your God gave you has failed. Every promise has been fulfilled, not one has failed. But just as every good promise of Yahuwah your God has come true, so Yahuwah will bring on you all the evil he has threatened, until he has destroyed you from this good land he has given you. If you violate the covenant of Yahuwah your God, which he commanded you, and go and serve other gods and bow down to them, Yahuwah's anger will burn against you, and you will quickly perish from the good land he has given you." Then Joshua assembled all the tribes of Israel at Shechem. He summoned the elders, leaders, judges, and officials of Israel, and they presented themselves before God. Joshua said to all the people, "This is what Yahuwah, the God of Israel, says. Long ago, your forefathers, including Terah, the father of Abraham and Nahor, lived beyond the river and worshipped other gods. But I took your father Abraham from the land beyond the river and led him throughout Canaan and gave him many descendants. I gave him Isaac, and to Isaac I gave Jacob and Esau. I assigned the hill country of Seir to Esau, but Jacob and his sons went down to Egypt. Then I sent Moses and Aaron, and I afflicted the Egyptians by what I did there, and I brought you out. When I brought your fathers out of Egypt, you came to the sea, and the Egyptians pursued them with chariots and horsemen as far as the Red Sea. But they cried out to Yahuwah for help, and he put darkness between you and the Egyptians. He brought the sea over them and covered them. You saw with your own eyes what I did to the Egyptians. Then you lived in the desert for a long time. I brought you to the land of the Amorites, who lived east of the Jordan. They fought against you, but I gave them into your hands. I destroyed them from before you, and you took possession of their land. When Balak, son of Zippor, the king of Moab, prepared to fight against Israel, he sent for Balaam, son of Beor, to put a curse on you. But I would not listen to Balaam, so he blessed you again, and I delivered you out of his hand. Then you crossed the Jordan and came to Jericho. The citizens of Jericho fought against you, as did also the Amorites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hittites, Girgashites, Hivites, and Jebusites, but I gave them into your hands. I sent the hornet ahead of you, which drove them out before you. Also the 2 Amorite kings. You did not do it with your own sword and bow, so I gave you a land on which you did not toil and cities you did not build. And you live in them and eat from vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. Now fear Yahuwah and serve him with all faithfulness. Throw away the gods your forefathers worshipped beyond the river and in Egypt, and serve Yahuwah. But if serving Yahuwah seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your forefathers served beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living. But as for me and my household, we will serve Yahuwah." Then the people answered, "Far be it from us to forsake Yahuwah to serve other gods. It was Yahuwah our God himself who brought us and our fathers up out of Egypt, from that land of slavery, and performed those great signs before our eyes. He protected us on our entire journey and among all the nations through which we traveled. And Yahuwah drove out before us all the nations, including the Amorites who lived in the land. We too will serve Yahuwah, because he is our God." Joshua said to the people, "You are not able to serve Yahuwah. He is a holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your rebellion and your sins. If you forsake Yahuwah and serve foreign gods, he will turn and bring disaster on you and make an end of you after he has been good to you." But the people said to Joshua, "No, we will serve Yahuwah." Then Joshua said, "You are witnesses against yourselves that you have chosen to serve Yahuwah." "Yes, we are witnesses," they replied. "Now then," said Joshua, "throw away the foreign gods that are among you and yield your hearts to Yahuwah, the God of Israel." And the people said to Joshua, "We will serve Yahuwah our God and obey him." On that day, Joshua made a covenant for the people, and there at Shechem he drew up for them decrees and laws. And Joshua recorded these things in the book of the law of God. Then he took a large stone and set it up there under the oak near the holy place of Yahuwah. "See," he said to all the people, "this stone will be a witness against us. It has heard all the words Yahuwah has said to us. It will be a witness against you if you are untrue to your God." Then Joshua sent the people away, each to his own inheritance. This is the word of Yahuwah. Thanks be to God.